Let's just say I love you.
I love you too. I always will. Take care of her, sir.
You're a good man, Shawn. Thank you for giving me and my daughter this chance.
I know how important it is. Goodbye, Angela.
Hello, my pop culture lovers, and welcome back for another video. So it's been a while. It's been like 2 weeks since I posted a podcast, and it's been weeks since I posted a video. And I've been watching a lot of movies, been watching a lot of YouTube, and one of the YouTube videos that sparked this, or maybe even two, is Short Spears when the Disposable Black Girlfriend trope backfires, and then Tron's the undateable BIPOC co-star. So I really wanted to talk about like this phenomenon with Black characters being inserted into predominantly white entertainment and just basically never being shown as a love interest. They're just thrown away and, again, disposable. I started off the clip with, of course, Boy Meets World. One of my first beginning videos was about Shawn and Angela, and ever since I was a kid, I was a huge fan of Boy Meets World, specifically the later seasons, like season 5 through 7, and being a Black girl myself, I was a big fan of Angela, and I thought it was amazing that Angela was with Shawn because Shawn was seen as like the heartthrob. And I was rooting for them more than I was rooting for Corey and Topanga. But then again, the second to last episode, Angela decides to leave and be with her father, and her and Shawn break up. So again, Angela's like, let's not say goodbye because like that's forever, you know. And then Shawn literally says when she walks away, goodbye, Angela. Like he done with her. And then we had the unfortunate reboot of Girl Meets World. Now, I know that now everyone's like big thing is to hate on Girl Meets World, but I was a big fan of it. A lot of their most controversial episodes never really got to me. But the one thing that did get to me was how they treated Angela in Boy Meets World. I also just recently watched another Shawn and Angela video. And the funniest thing was, too, when that person was, like, dissecting the Shawn and Angela relationship. She was like, so you got married and then decided to go see your ex who you haven't saw in a long time to ask them if it's okay for you to have kids. And I'm thinking to myself, exactly, like, the way they wrapped Angela into Girl Meets World was so chaotic and like problematic to me, and it did not help the whole like disposable girlfriend thing, because honestly Angela wasn't a disposable girlfriend until Girl Meets World, because she was seen as like a steady girlfriend for Shawn. It was the couple, and then all of a sudden Angela gets like butchered. She's just like, oh, like I'm married now, and like they haven't talked in a long time. And for me, that's like unrealistic, because when there was the 7 Hard Ways episode of Boy Meets World, and we saw that this is the potential future of like the Boy Meets World characters, and we saw that like Corey and Topanga had a daughter, and Shawn and Angela haven't seen each other for a while. That made sense in like the 2000s context, because there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was no like social media. So how else were Shawn and Angela going to keep up with each other? But when Girl Meets World came out, it was like 2010s. Shawn definitely would have like been checking up on Angela and been like looking at what she's doing. Maybe he would never contact her, but they acted like they knew nothing about each other currently, and like they were filling in the blanks. And it was bad too, because then Angela's like, oh, like, who's this girl? And, like, who's her mother? And you should go for them. It's like, so now we're going to get the approval from the black girlfriend that it's okay for him to marry this white woman who he has no chemistry with, so it won't be disposable. No, you still dispose Angela, because why y'all brought her back? You gave her back for fan service just to spit in her face. And the YouTube channel that I'm referring to is Let's Talk About It, the true love story of Boy Meets World, Shawn and Angela. So that's the video that I had recently watched. And it was just like, as a lot of Boy Meets World fans were just upset with like Shawn and Angela, but for other TV shows, the Disposable Black Girlfriend is like worse. I mean, at least Angela was from season 5, 6, and 7. So Angela got a good 3 seasons being on Boy Meets World. Other Disposable Black Girlfriends, baby, they don't even get episodes. Like, think about Charlie and like our episodes. They only get seasons, what I meant. Charlie from Friends, she was there for like, 4 episodes? And it was just, again, to create chaos. And the Gabrielle Union episode in Friends, that was just 1 episode. And it was literally like, I get it. Like, Ross and Joey Joey and Chandler have fought over women before. And people may ask, like, well, they fought over white women before. Why does it matter that these characters may be black? It matters because these are predominantly like white sitcoms. And so when you enter someone of a different ethnicity, it's really like, what are you going to do with them? Are they going to be a character, or are they going to be disposable? Because for me, when Joey and Chandler were fighting over, I think her name was Kathy. She was like an actress, and she started dating Joey first, but then she fell in love with Chandler. And I remember that story arc and thinking to myself, oh, like, she like legit like feels like she has legit feelings for Chandler, and it feels like Chandler like has legit feelings for her. And there's a thought in the back of your head that's like, these people could potentially be together. But whenever it comes to minority characters, you never actually see or think to yourself, oh, this person may end up with this like white person. The disposable thing is always in the back of your mind, like, oh, because this person's a minority, they're just not going to end up together, because that's just how it works out. If I'm watching a show with a predominantly white cast and there is a minority person, I'm just like, oh, that person's just not going to end up with that person. You know, like, I think a show that did a good job with this is How I Met Your Mother.
Any guesses?
Stella.
Zoe.
Karen?
The girl who beat you up.
The girl who ruined a photo with Slash.
The girl who made you get the butterfly tattoo?
Why you make it sound like I've dated a series of Stieg Larsson novels.
The girl who shared a bed with her brother.
The girl who did porn.
The girl who ran over the hitchhiker?
The girl who had crazy eyes.
The girl who gave you throw pillows.
The girl who gave you the lamp?
The girl who gave you 12 mixtapes.
The girl I slept with first.
The girl who wouldn't stop talking?
The girl you made out with on St. Patrick's Day.
The girl who took your virginity.
The girl who was just using you to get back at her ex?
The girl who was way too into sci-fi.
The girl who I hired to play my wife.
The girl who texted too soon?
The girl you went on 2 blind dates with.
The girl who turned out to be a lesbian.
The girl whose name you can't remember?
The girl who was a militant hippie vegan.
The girl you naked manned.
The girl you had a 3-way with?
Allegedly.
The other girl you had a 3-way with.
Unconfirmed.
The girl in the slutty pumpkin costume?
The girl who worked the coat check at that club.
The girl you thought was a hooker.
The girl you thought was your perfect match?
The girl you dumped on her birthday.
Same girl who beat me up.
The girl who kept you on the hook.
The girl who worked at the GNB cafeteria!
The girl who's always in a relationship.
The girl who killed your turtle.
Wow, I am impressed with myself. Perhaps I need to be a little more specific.
In regards to Ted. Now, Barney, right before he married Robin, was with a minority woman. And we just all knew, like, oh, he going to end up with Robin. Barney's not going to end up with this woman. And the same thing, like, Robin was also with a minority man, and she didn't end up with him. We knew, like, she going to end up with Ted or she going to end up with Barney, because those are 2 white love interests. That's what's going to happen. Now, some people may bring up, oh, like, what about The Flash? Or, oh, what's another show? Oh, like, what about, like, Little Mermaid? Or, oh, I'm trying to think of other shows. But my base argument for that is, in The Flash, Iris West was originally a white character, and in Little Mermaid, Ariel was originally a white character. Both redheads. I don't know what's the connection between, like, replacing redheads with black people, or, like, vice versa. It's, like, weird. But for some reason, people like always say, like, oh, like, I really like, you know, The Flash. I like their representation. But it's like, that only happened because no matter what, Barry and Iris are always going to be together. No matter what ethnicity Iris is, Barry and Iris are going to be together. So it's not because like, oh, like we just made up this whole original character for the CW Flash who happens to be black and Barry's going to end up with her. It's Iris. It's like if we made Lois Lane black. No matter what, we know Clark going to end up with her because Lois Lane is Lois Lane. And I think in the new animated Superman series, Lois Lane is Asian descent. I could be wrong. But Lois Lane's voiced by Alice Lee. And Alice, she's a Korean American. Okay, so they have a Korean American Lois Lane. And again, no matter what race Lois Lane is going to be, she's always going to end up with Clark. So it's not like, oh, we should get excited for that. It would be more interesting if, like, I don't know, there was a character named Alice and she was Korean descent and Clark was interested in her more than Lois. And for some reason, Superman Clark, whatever, had chose Alice over Lois. Now that'd be a gag. But we always know, like, even if you change the race of this person, they're going to end up with them anyway. So it doesn't really make them disposable. So, like, when certain characters end up with certain characters and they are an interracial couple, it's like, well, yeah, there's background between that. All they did was like change the ethnicity, change the race. So it's just like the Percy Jackson series. He's going to end up with that girl. And I'm not familiar with Percy Jackson, but I knew they changed the race of her. So it's like, no, she's not going to be a disposable black character, but that's because she's tied to one of the characters in the previous book who was a white character. Just like if they change Harry Potter on Broadway and Hermione's black and Hermione ends up with Ron, it's not like, she's not a disposable black girlfriend. It's, no, they changed the race, so Hermione's always going to end up with Ron. So that's what's going to happen. And I guess for me, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because it's so irritating as a black woman watching the Disposable Black Girlfriend, because it's not just like a trope. It's like a for real, like real life thing. So I know a lot of people have spoke about it in media in general, but I wanted to hit on the aspect of this is like a real life thing. As a person that's dating in my 20s, I feel like a lot of like the white men I date, they don't feel like an end game. I just feel like a chapter in their book that like, I need to scratch this itch. I literally have talked to men who's just like, I've never been with like a black girl before. And I just already know, okay, I'm going to be disposable. You're only going to be with me until you find your white queen. Like, that's how it feels. So when I watch these TV shows, it hits harder because it's like, Shawn and Angela had so much chemistry, so much love, so much growth within each other and then together. And then for Shawn to basically be like, I want to be with Katie, when watching Girl Meets World, he did not have that strong hold he did with Katie. Like, Katie was an annoying character. She was very immature. Girl was not taking care of her kid, where Shawn was just like, look, what you doing? And she's like, well, I work 3 jobs. But she always just seemed comical. Like, she did not seem serious. Like, when we watched Boy Meets World and we saw what Shawn was going through, it wasn't like a comedy skit show. But like, anytime I saw Katie on screen, she was just always goofy as hell. And it just didn't make sense. I'm like, Shawn's a little bit more serious, more mature, more suave, you know? And so the fact that he ends up with Katie when he should have ended up with someone like Angela, or honestly, if they gave Shawn another black girlfriend, I would not even mind, because I'm just like, that probably is more of Shawn's type, because it made me laugh when they did that Valentine's Day episode and all of like Shawn's exes were popping up and they were all white women and they were all like, oh, he did this, watch out, Angela. And Angela was like, is this true, Shawn? And Shawn's like, you're different, like, I'm not doing that. And it was really nice to see, because usually the black girlfriend is disposable, but Boy Meets World was like, no, we're going to carry out this Shawn and Angela love story and for 3 seasons. And then for the second to last episode to happen, and we just say, deuces, Angela, because she want to be with her dad. It's just like, why couldn't Shawn go too? Because did Shawn just end up going to New York with Topanga and Corey? Clearly he had no plans. So he should have just left with Angela. Like, don't make me mad. And I put My Scene in here because when I was a kid, My Scene used to like show their trailers of like their upcoming movies on Barbie.com. And the one movie I wanted to see so bad was Jammin' in Jamaica, because there's this one clip where the character Barbie sees River hugging Madison. And I was gagged as a kid, because I'm just like, oh my God, like, maybe the white man is going to show interest in this black woman. And it's not about like, oh, we want Black women to like be with other races. It's really just like, why are they just being tossed aside? Like, they're not people, like they're not humans, like their feelings don't matter. And why is it always just being mistreated? So to see, I guess, it be on the other foot for someone else and the Black girl be the one who's like being cherished, it makes you like, as a person who relates, like as a Black woman, makes you like, oh snap, I see you. And like, at the end of the day, in Jamie Jamaica, River wasn't cheating on Barbie. He was just hugging Madison. But again, in my kid mind, I needed to see that movie so bad. One couple where a Black girl is not disposable is in the sense of Degrassi with JT and Liberty. So JT and Liberty are both original characters. They were both made, their ethnicity, it wasn't changed, it wasn't swapped. But unfortunately, JT did die. And towards the end, he was doing a little bit Disposable Black Girlfriend because he was really trying to push down his feelings for Liberty. But the difference between the Disposable Black Girlfriend trope is that we, as the audience, knew Liberty was his end game. And that's the difference. If you know that the Black girl is their end game and they will end up with them, they just may have like back and forth and a couple of like arguments or whatever, then they're not disposable. Like, for Boy Meets World, we all, before Girl Meets World came out, we were like, Shawn and Angela are endgame. Angela's not a disposable Black girlfriend. And I get it. They technically like broke up, but technically they didn't, because Angela was like, I'm going to come back to Shawn. And Shawn was like, yeah, it's over. And there was no discussion. There was no like follow up, because basically how Shawn made it seem like in Girl Meets World was like, we just kind of like stopped talking. I'm like, I need a filler episode. I need like a scene on how specifically that happened. Did you visit Angela and y'all talked and broke up? Like, how did it happen? Because Shawn in Girl Meets World will always like downplay him and Angela's relationship. Like, this man was not writing poems and boo-hooing over Angela. Like, they really changed it up. Like, we didn't watch Angela season 5, 6, 7. Like Angela had that boy sprung. Like, I'm confused. But Girl Meets World tried to act like, oh, she was just a disposable girlfriend. Katie's the love of his life. Okay, whatever. So JT tried to do the same and rewrite history by being like, oh, I'm in love with Mia. I'm in love with Mia. I'm in love with Mia. And we're like, JT, you're supposed to be with Liberty. Stop playing. And the minute he was finally going to do that, he dies. So then it's like, why can't the Black girl get her man? Why he gotta die? And of course, other background things happen with Degrassi, and that's why they killed JT off, because I think the actor wanted to go to college or something. So that like sucks, and it's like frustrating. But it is what it is. The other thing I wanted to hit on in regards to Disposable Black Girlfriend is, again, their end game in the character's mind, but they get killed off. So, for instance, Liberty, she lost JT. In the DC, there was Vixen and Green Lantern. So, it's the Disposable Black Girlfriend as Green Lantern, Jon Stewart, who's Black, was supposed to be with Shayera Hall, who is Hawk Girl, and she betrays the Justice League. She leaves, and while she is gone, Green Lantern Jon Stewart gets with Vixen, Mari, and they are a couple for a long time. And there's an episode where Green Lantern finds out that him and Shayera Hawk Girl have a son together, and instead of him being like, it's Destiny, I'm supposed to be with this white woman, he's like, I'm not Destiny's puppet. I'm going to stay with Mari. Like, he's standing 10 toes down. And in the comics following up Justice League, Green Lantern decides that he's still going to be with Mari, and he decides to propose to her. But the comic makers were like, but we got to kill her because you got to be with Hawk Girl. So they kill Mari. So it's not like the Shawn and Angela thing where Green Lantern's like, oh, like me and Mari aren't supposed to be together. I'm going to break up with her and end up with Shayera. Instead, it was like, we really don't know how to break this couple up because they are supposed to be together, and John said he's not going to be Destiny's puppet. So in order to do that, we need to kill her. So they killed Mari, just like how they killed JT. And then the last example, well, I have 2 more examples. 3. Oh, I have a lot of examples. I didn't even realize that. I already mentioned the Charlie thing from Friends. I don't know how to put this one in here, but Fitz and Olivia, I just had to mention Fitz and Olivia because, honey, they were supposed to be endgame, but just did not end up together. I don't understand. Because you know what? I don't know. I think Olivia is a disposable girlfriend. She was with, no matter what man she was with, she was always going to be disposable. Like, she was not messing with the married life. Like, she was not a girlfriend. She was going to be a girlfriend for a temporary time and it bounced. Like, but that's who Olivia was. And I don't know what that representation does, because when you look at it, then that makes, like, maybe white men be like, oh, see, like, that's what black women do. They just, like, have fun and then they dip. That's what I want. Like, I don't want a real commitment, and black women don't commit. Like, I don't know if that is what the representation of Olivia Pope is going to do, because she never wanted to get married. When she got married in that, like, fantasy episode of, like, what would have happened if blank, of Scandal, she was miserable and she cheated on Fitz. So then it's like, okay, so you're basically saying that Olivia's not Fitz endgame. No matter how much he says he loves her and they be breathing in each other's faces and be loving on each other, they're never going to be a couple, like, be together. The other couple I wanted to touch on was from This Is Us. It's Kevin and Zoe. So Zoe was Beth's cousin and they start dating, and again, it's This Is Us. Like, it's a future, past, present show. And I just knew that Zoe was not going to be Kevin's endgame. So it was very frustrating watching a relationship, because the whole time watching, I'm like, well, she's a disposable black girlfriend. How are they going to break up? Like, that's all I kept thinking while watching it. Like, yes, I was eating the scenes up between those two, but I just knew, okay, so when are they going to fight and break up? And then he ends up with his white woman. And the white woman he ends up with, ding, 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 is Zoe. The one white woman he was with since he was a child. And speaking of childhood loves that you have to end up with, even though they are shitty to you or you're shitty towards them and y'all don't belong together, I'm going back to one of my first YouTube videos ever. Zach, Kelly, and Lisa.
We were...
Together?
Yeah.
Well, hey,
No matter what, Zach was just like, I'm going to be with Kelly. Like, that was his motto. That's what he said to himself. He was going to be with Kelly, even though Lisa was his down friend since Good Morning, Miss Bliss. I mean, before there was even a Saved by the Bell, it was Zach and Lisa. But no, y'all can't end up together. Even though in real life the actors dated for 3 years. No, Zach needs to end up with, like, Kelly. Why? Kelly always, like, rewatching Saved by the Bell, Kelly did not want to be with Zach. She wanted the image, but I don't think she truly loved Zach. I don't think she cared about him. Who was in that hospital with Zach? It was Lisa. Even though Lisa be shopping till she dropped, she be sounding like self-absorbed and all that stuff, she was always there for Zach. She was always going to make sure she was there for Zach. She was there for her friend. Praying over him? When did Kelly ever pray over Zach? When? Like, y'all, like, the scenes that these people, like, directors be doing with, like, these disposable black girlfriends, they be having these black girlfriends pour their heart out to these men. Like, the way Angela was like, Shawn, I know how I feel. I love you. When did Katie ever do something like that? Like, I'm changing my voice. Like, what? And then it's just insane that, like, they throw away these love interests. Or, again, I'm going to touch on this last note because I did mention Tron's video about the BIPOC co-star, like, they're undateable, and the whole, like, Henry Danger thing. If Charlotte was not black, if Charlotte was white, her and Henry would have dated, because that's what they always do. I just talked about how Sophie and Kevin from This Is Us ended up together because they were childhood friends. They grew up together and then started dating when they were teenagers, etc. We see that story all the time. Same with Zach and Kelly. Same with, why am I blanking? What was it, like, Shawn and Emma from, like, Degrassi? Like, you grow up with someone, you develop feelings for them, and then you start dating them. And somehow when that person is black or a person of color, that can't happen. Y'all are really just true buds. And I'm like, there's literally no way. Or there's so much attraction, there's so much chemistry that people notice it, but still nothing happens. Damon, Bonnie, Vampire Diaries, yeah, because you will see people edit certain couples or certain people together that never had a kissing scene or never had a romance scene because the chemistry, the dialogue, the way they deliver scenes, the way they make eye contact is just enough. But then the writers, directors, producers are like, but they can't end up with that person of color. They can't end up with that black girlfriend, even though the chemistry or whatever they have is 10 times more powerful than what they have with the love interest. And that's the biggest thing sometimes with like these disposable black girlfriend tropes or this disposable love interests of people of color love tropes is that most of the time they have better chemistry, they have healthier relationships, and yet the white person will choose the other toxic white person. Like, it doesn't always logically make sense. Like, when JT was like so gun-ho on being with Mia, it's like, why? You and Mia don't have nothing in common. Y'all, you grew up with Liberty. You've been with Liberty. Y'all had a kid together, been through trauma together, losing that kid and giving it up for adoption. And yet you're gun-ho on Mia because what? The only thing I can think of is literally she's white. Because there's no other reason why you should be with Mia. And that's the most frustrating thing. It's like, it's not like these black love interests that a lot of these people enter into the shows are horrible people. Most of the people end up falling in love with them, really liking them. Like, they literally use Charlie to mix up the plot of like the Joey, Rachel, Ross love triangle. And the minute Joey and Rachel got together, all of a sudden Ross was jealous. So then Charlie had to bounce. It was like Charlie didn't even do nothing. Like, Charlie had a lot in common with Ross, but he just has to be with Rachel. He just has to be with Rachel. And it's just like, why? Why are these people of color disposable? Why can't they be seen as serious love interests? There should not be an itch in the back of my head every time I see a person of color on my TV screen in a predominantly white show that they will not be here for long. I have been your pop culture princess, Devin, and I'll see you in the next video.
Goodbye, Annie.